January 1945. Alsace, France. The sky was heavy and gray, hanging low over frozen fields. Snow covered the ground like a silent shroud. German officers studied the American defensive line through binoculars. One of them reportedly laughed. "That position won't last an hour. A thin tree line, open ground, minimal cover." From a tactical perspective, it looked hopeless. But what they didn't know was that one man was about to turn that exposed patch of snow into a killing ground. For 6 hours. Alone. That man was Audie Murphy. At first glance, he didn't look like a war hero. He was small and barely 5'5", young-faced, quiet, almost boyish. But by 1945, he had already survived campaigns in Sicily, Italy, and southern France. He served with the 3rd Infantry Division, one of the most battle-hardened units in Europe. He had seen friends die. He had led men through hell. And now, near the village of Holzwar, the war would test him like never before. January 26, 1945. The German counterattack began at dawn. First came artillery. Shells exploded across American positions, sending snow and dirt into the air. Then came the armor. German tanks pushed forward, supported by infantry moving between the trees. The Americans were outnumbered, outgunned, and dangerously exposed. The German command believed the position would collapse quickly. They were wrong. Murphy quickly assessed the situation. The enemy was closing in. If his men stayed, they would be surrounded. He ordered his company to fall back into the woods. Reluctantly, they obeyed. But Murphy didn't retreat. Instead, he turned toward a burning American M10 tank destroyer. Flames licked its metal hull. Ammunition inside could explode at any moment. Most soldiers would have used it for cover. Murphy climbed on top of it. Mounted on the disabled vehicle was a Browning .50 caliber machine gun. Heavy, devastating, powerful. Murphy grabbed it. From his elevated position, he could see the entire battlefield. German infantry advanced confidently, believing the Americans were retreating. Then the firing began. Short, controlled bursts. Precise, ruthless. Enemy soldiers fell in the snow. The German advance slowed, then stalled. They couldn't understand how such intense firepower was coming from a position they thought was abandoned. For nearly 6 hours, Murphy held that position, alone. German infantry tried to flank him. He cut them down. Tanks advanced. He radioed artillery coordinates while firing. At one point, he was wounded in the leg. He was bleeding. The flames beneath him burned hotter, but he did not leave. German commanders began to suspect they were facing a reinforced American unit. But it was only one man. That's when the nickname was born among survivors of the Ghost, because he seemed to be everywhere at once. Eventually, the ammunition ran low. The tank destroyer was nearly consumed by fire. Murphy finally dismounted. He limped back toward his men. Most commanders would have regrouped. Instead, he ordered a counterattack. Wounded, exhausted, outnumbered, the Americans advanced. The German assault collapsed. The tanks halted. The infantry withdrew. The position once Machta held. German officers initially believed the American line was weak. Open ground, limited fortifications, poor visibility. From a tactical standpoint, it seemed like easy prey. But war is not fought on paper. It is fought by people. And sometimes, one determined soldier can disrupt the plans of an entire battalion. For his actions near Holzwar, Audie Murphy received the United States' highest military decoration, the Medal of Honor. He would become the most decorated American combat soldier of World War I. After the war, he became an actor, a writer, a public figure. But he rarely spoke of that day with pride. To him, it was simply duty. The Battle of Holzwar remains one of the most remarkable small unit defensive actions of World War I. One man, one machine gun, 6 hours. The German officers who mocked that exposed position never expected resistance like that. They expected surrender. Instead, they met resolve. History remembers the tanks. But sometimes it's the man standing alone in the snow who changes everything. He was young. He was wounded. He was alone. And yet, he stood his ground. They laughed at the position. They underestimated the defender. But for 6 relentless hours, one soldier stopped an armored assault. Not because he was invincible, but because he refused to leave. And sometimes that is enough to change history.